G'day headbangers and welcome to Dozel's Metalworks. Welcome back my fellow metalheads to another edition of Dozel's Metalworks. What a week it's been, seriously, diddly squat work. And I worked last weekend, that's why I didn't do an episode. Some of us have to work hard for a living, because this ain't free. Well, technically it is, but yeah. Anyway, this week I am doing part 2 of great, fantastic, awesome debut metal rock albums. So yeah, easy list here. Probably could do a part 3, so I'll have to wait and see. But there is an honourable mention. I call it a super honourable mention because this is fantastic, but I'll get to that. So we're going to start off with Skid Row with their debut self-titled album released in 1989. Great album. And then an album that's highly underrated, a band that's highly underrated to me, Vixen. Where are we? Vixen, this one here I think. With their self-titled album released in 1988. Gotta love Vixen, highly underrated, love the girls. Then we have Fallen by Evanescence with their debut album released in 2003. Fallen was a great album, absolutely brilliant, can't go wrong there. Next we actually have, we're going back to the vaults here, High Voltage by AC/DC, released in 1976. Thinking that's almost as old as me, seriously, that's shocking. Next we have Melissa with Merciful Fate, released in 1983. Yeah, the start for the great Danish band themselves. What a year. Next we have Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park, released in 2000. Yeah, it's probably would be the only few albums I'd actually get from them, I guess, but yeah, anyway. Next we have Mental Health by Quiet Riot, released in 1983. This album was an absolute banger, with Bang Your Head and Come On Feel the Noise, standout tracks from that, brilliant. Next we have The Warning by Queensryche, released in 1984. I think they released an EP first and their debut album, so it's a pretty damn good album. Then we have Facelift by Alice in Chains, released in 1990, the start of the grunge era, boys and girls. Yeah, I was never a fan of the grunge back in the day, but now I actually appreciate it a lot more. Next we have Battle Hymns by Manowar, released in 1982. I've only listened to the album once, maybe twice. It's one of the few albums by Manowar I really need to get into by listening to it a few more times, but yeah, anyway. Next we have Wasp with their self-titled debut album, released in 1984. Yes, beginning of the shock rock era with those boys, so yeah. Next we have Feel the Steel by Steel Panther, released in 2009. Those boys were so dirty. I mean, they're just perverted individuals, that's why I love them. Next we have Eternal Blue by Spirit Box, released in 2021. Don't have this album yet, I have their follow-up, Tsunami Sea, but still get it. I love Spirit Box. The fact that it's named after, you know, a supernatural item, brilliant. Next we have Amaranth with their debut album, released in 2011. Rex likes this album just as much as me, actually. Our beginning of our journey into the world of Amaranth, hey Rex? Yep, Rex just nodded, yep. Yeah, I have every Amaranth album, and Rex always wants to listen once I get them, so yeah. Then of course we have in the middle here quite possibly one of the best debut rock albums ever, and you can quote me on that, Van Halen with their first debut album, self-titled, released in 1978. God, it's so old, like me. But yeah, no, what can I say about their first album? It's an absolute banger. The whole album's just brilliant, you know, and obviously Eruption. Believes me, the only thing erupting that day. Anyway, Yeah. Now, a very special honourable mention. I do want to get this album on CD and vinyl and put in Dozer's Vault pretty much straight away, even though it's only a couple of years old. And that is Dogma with their self-titled album. I want to try and get the Japanese edition of it because it actually has a fully R-rated cover. And they do a cover of Madonna's Like a Prayer, which is an absolute fantastic version. I call Dogma the Naughty Nuns because they're just like nuns and they do naughty things, and it's amazing. But apart from that, they are very talented, even though they've swapped lineups because the manager's a dodgy dude. But anyway, that's a very huge, massive, honourable mention for me because it's one of the best debut albums I've ever heard from a band. But anyway, I've got to wrap this one up. I've got my son here with me today. He wants to watch Predator 2, so that's a good movie, so he's allowed to watch that. And until next time, my friends, mosh on.